Hi, it's Brian Brody with a special invitation for you. If your regular weekly gathering is on lockdown, your weekend ritual is on the ropes, all this social distancing got you down, well, we're here to hang with you and pick up some of your Sunday morning slack. With all the stress, anxiety, and downright worry swirling around us today, we'll be here to ride it out with you. Because long before there were Dems and Repubs and Libs and Indies and Socialists and Progressives, you were one of us. We were on the same team. So no memberships, no collection plates, no hymns. You don't want to hear me sing. No bowing, no kidding. We're just gathering online to remind each other of who we genuinely are. So please join us live for a very special all-natural being, Sundays, 11 a.m. Eastern, for as long as the current craziness lasts. Welcome to a very special Sunday morning edition of All Natural Being with Brian Brody, and especially given some of the significance for those of you that know what this means. Happy Palm Sunday to you as well. We've got a lot to talk about this morning in our 20-minute victory. Remember, we'll be doing these for 20 minutes until such time as we're pretty certain that we don't break the web. But happy Palm Sunday to you, or happy Sunday, whatever religion you may follow or not. Wish you a happy day as well. All right, so here's what I wanted to jump to first this morning, if we would, welcoming you to All Natural Being. You know, here's one of the things that and look, let's just be narcissistic about it. Let's just be selfish about it. Let's just be us about it, okay? One of the things that I want to make mention of is that let's use our energy. Let's balm first and blame later. Let's go ahead and fix this first, and then we'll finger point after the fact. And the only reason I suggest this to you is all the people running around, oh, I hate this one, I hate that one, never this one, never that one, all these crazy things. That energy, that anger, that angst, that fear, that anxiety is robbing your own body's ability to defend you at times like this. So all I'm simply suggesting is that if we buy into that motto of balm first and blame later, all I'm suggesting is maybe we could use some of that energy, right, to bolster our own defenses, right? Once more unto the gate, dear friend, once more. Maybe we could reinforce the ramparts, right? We could man or people some of our defenses if we weren't so busy trying to figure out who we're going to blame. And the more afraid you are, the more finger pointing you do. That's why I've said all along that fear is really a byproduct of our forgetfulness, of our amnesia. Because if you remember who you ultimately are, and that's what I want to focus on today for All Natural Being, if you remember who you ultimately are, then there's very little that can bring you down. All right, so let's hop into this. And I wanted to give you an idea as we first start. How did this whole thing about the human mind's Mandalorian, how did that all come to be? How is it that you can go and then you say to yourself, well, wait a minute, if you're going to spend your day kicking ass, how do you start your mornings in Kumbaya? And I learned this a lot from my good friends on Wudong Mountain in China, is that you have that compassion, and really the only time you have to go, the only time you have to kick some butt, kick some tuchus, if you will, is with the understanding that sometimes compassion has to have teeth. You can be compassionate, but then every so often, compassion needs to snarl in order to stand up for itself. So what I thought we could focus on this morning is, far back as I could remember, my grandfather had a saying that he took, I suspect, from the Christian Bible. He took a saying that said that Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. Wisdom, mind, stature, body, right? As above, so below. The mental and the physical, which is why I started Mortal Up all these years ago. It's a combination of the mental and the physical. So what I wanted to do this morning, when we talk about being warrior poets, when we talk about kumbaya and then kick some ass, when we talk about what we need to do in those situations where compassion has to have teeth. Someone asked me the other day, why do I start off every morning with my petition to the sunrise for people that have lost loved ones? And then why do I send happy birthday, the Beatles happy birthday song to all my friends on Facebook? It's because I like to start off with the kumbaya. I like to start off with the compassion first. I like to start off my week with all natural being on Sundays. And then get into where the compassion needs to snarl, get into the combat, the full combat compassion, if you will, a little later in the week. Blending both, as I said, my grandfather's belief in wisdom and in stature, and also the warrior poet's belief in compassion, and then the counterpunch, right? That's all I'm saying. So what I thought we could do this morning, and regardless of your religious affiliation, regardless of atheist, agnostic, whatever religion you are, 4 things kind of jumbled together. In the 35 years I've been studying this, in the 5 different countries that I've gone to hone this message of mortal up, I just thought maybe I would share that with you because I teased this show as saying, look, this is the ultimate survival technique. All right? Has nothing to do with beans or bullets or, my 5. As you know, right? If you're going to mortal up and you're going to protect yourself, the 5 things we posted yesterday about what you need to focus on, right? You need to focus on food. You need to focus on fresh water. In this downtime, do you know how to do first aid? This would be a great time to learn first aid. Do you have fire extinguishers that work in your house? Do you have a firearm? When you can't call on anyone else, when you can't call on the police, when you can't call on the fire department, when you dial 911 and it goes to voicemail and a paramedic isn't coming, do you know the basics of first aid? Do you know how to do the Heimlich maneuver if one of your family members is choking? And then, of course, do you have food and do you have fresh water? So there it is. There's that part of the survival. But the other part of the survival that I've learned, as I said now, in over 35 years of investigating this, traveling as far away, sitting as long as I did in a cave in China, Wudong Mountain in China, to kind of hone this craft, I wanted to share it with you. So my first inclining, other than my grandfather saying, increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man, is that the 23rd Psalm. Lord is my shepherd, and what I'd like to focus on for this part of the 23rd Psalm, Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Shall not want. Human being, don't be a human getting. I shall not want. Hold that for just a second, if you would. Then you jump forward to the New Testament. You jump forward to the Christian prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. All right? On earth as it is in heaven. Very Taoist, as above, so below. But let's not go there. So you have what? I shall not want. You have thy will be done. And then if you're of the Muslim faith, this whole the concept of inshallah is if Allah wills, thy will be done. If Allah wills, I shall not want. Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil, right? So don't want, thy will be done if Allah wills. And then all of a sudden, I end up, as I said, in a cave in Japan, in China, studying with the monks, and I come across this. And what this saying means, and as you know, you probably do, you read it from right to left, is that the Tao follows its own path, or that nature follows the path of the Tao, right? It is what it is. The Tao follows its own path. So I left China with the understanding that thy will be done. If Allah wills, I shall not want, no wanting, I shall not want, and the Tao follows its own path. So why have I teased this? Why have I said this is such a great survival concept, right? What can you learn from this? Is that when you say, I shall not want, the outcome is the outcome. Fate's going to bring its game any way that it can. But you and I have the ability to rise up. You and I have the ability. I might very well have gotten the tagline, the human mind's Mandalorian, but guess who else is the human mind's Mandalorian? You are. Guess who else? Well, I may have gotten the term cognitive bodyguard. Guess who else is a cognitive bodyguard? Well, you are. So there's nothing special about me, nothing at all. I will tell you that a part of my understanding that might be a little different is all of a sudden fate does what it can to kind of smack you down, right? And then you go, it doesn't matter to me. The Tao follows its own path. Fate, you bring what you bring. I'll bring the counterpunch. Now, how much counterpunch can we really bring if we're busy pointing the fingers at everybody? right? If we're saying, oh, it's this one's fault, that one's fault, this one's fault, that one's fault, who cares? Balm first. Heal yourself first. There'll be plenty of time to assess blame. But why assess that blame if it's costing you your mental health? You go on Facebook, you go on Twitter, you go on YouTube or LinkedIn or any of those, and people are just enraged. Well, I'm here to tell you, in terms of a human economy, your own personal, right? Your medical economy, when you're enraged, you don't got any energy left for your immune system. So people say, oh, you need to put on a mask. Oh, when you go out in public, I got to tell you, it's not going to be popular, right? You can hear all the people leaving, the screen door shutting on the way out. If you're enraged, you're absolutely more likely not only to contract the coronavirus, but spread it to the rest of us. I don't care what political party you belong to. I really don't. If you're busy blaming everybody else, that's energy that's being siphoned off from who you ultimately are. That's energy that's been taken away. It's being bled out of you. And you're like, well, I'll show him. I'll give it to her. No, you won't. They don't even know you exist. Well, for my 7 followers, they'll know that I'm a never this one or a never that one. Who cares? They don't care. You might think they care. They don't care. All I'm simply suggesting is be a little selfish. Be narcissistic. Take that energy. There'll be plenty of time. You don't like this one. You don't like that one. That's what the voting booth is for. But all this finger pointing, all this blaming. Look, you want to blame? Go right ahead. I'm simply here to suggest fix your balm first. Heal what you can. Defend yourself with the moats, with the rampart, right? With your emotional service animal, whatever it's going to be. Heal yourself first. That's what it means to be the mind's Mandalorian. Fight the battle to protect yourself first. Then you can assess blame to everyone else. The Dow follows their own path. There's nothing anyone could have known about this particular type of pandemic. Here's something that I can tell you. Here's something that we absolutely know. Will this pandemic be the one that brings us down? No, not at all. Is there a pandemic coming that will bring us down? Absolutely. And one of those pandemics I think that we'll get here first is that sense of fear. Fear is the greatest pathogen on our planet. But when you decide to mortal up and you say to yourself, hey, whether it's and Allah wills, thy will be done, I shall not want, or the Tao follows its own path. It is what it is. It's here. So now what can you and I do about it? We can protect ourselves. We can protect our families. We can protect our loved ones. Because, wow, great. Fate came and pointed the finger at me. Well, that's fate's gig. Fate can point the finger. Fate can target you all you want. What's your gig? To bring the counterpunch. And you bring that counterpunch with all hands on deck. We've talked before about the breathing. We've talked before about how important it is, right? If you're stressed, if you're full of anger, look, let's just take stress, fear, anxiety, enragement, triggered, outraged. Let's take all of them. You know what it is? One word covers them all. Cortisol. Your body's pumping cortisol like it's going out of style. That's the fear hormone. And that's what makes you gain weight. Look, I don't want to go into this morning, right? Because I promised you we wouldn't. We spending our time together here. We wouldn't go into some of it, and that's not to say we can't pick it up some other time. But all those different things: triggered, outraged, enraged. I'm mad. I'm furious. I'm full of fear. I'm full of anxiety. I'm full of stress. No. Full of cortisol. Just might as well get a cup, fill it full of cortisol, and go. Who's in? Don't share straws now, or your spork, right? If the cortisol happens to gel a little bit, you're eating it like ice cream. That's all you get is cortisol. So save the blame. I don't care who you blame, but what I do care is about you making it through this. Save it. Use it as a balm. Use that energy in an attempt to prevent yourself from even getting sick. You know, I've been going back and forth with a medical doctor, as you may know, online. And this particular medical doctor texted me the other day and said, boy, you just won't let this Wuhan virus thing go, will you? And I go, no, because I'm not buying in to a concept of human frailty. I'm not buying in anymore, nor should you. We shouldn't buy in to human fragility, right? We're so fragile. Sticks and stones might break my bones. Oh, and and names, I guess we should add that on this side of the ledger. Names will hurt me as well. But in any event, when I'm having the debate, and I get, I can't believe you're still saying Wuhan. And I go, okay, great, yeah, guilty as charged. I'm always going to be the human mind's Mandalorian. I'm always going to stand up for thick human skin, because that's what keeps the pathogens out, whether they're biological or philosophical. So everyone's running around going, I got to keep the biological pathogens out, but then they'll let the philosophical pathogens in. Somebody has something mean to say to you and it's going to ruin your day, like letting them in the front door with a can full of spray paint. And they're going to put graffiti all over your new couch cushions. No, they're not. You wouldn't let that happen. That's what deadbolts are for. And baseball bats. But for the most part, deadbolts, right? Right. In case you happen to be, right, if the deadbolt's compromised, tomato. That's all I'm saying, right? But here's the thing. Here was my question. I said, look, given all of my years of meditation, given all the years that I've studied this, and given that we know if it's super cold outside, you breathe in through your nose, it's a lot warmer air. Why? Because the hairs in your nose and the mucus in your nose, it works to warm the air before it gets to your lungs. So my question, which was never answered, now maybe he's a busy guy. I'm sure he's a busy guy, right? But I never got my question answered. All he wanted to do was bitch about me calling it Wuhan virus. My question was simply this. If we inhale, right, if we breathe the way our lungs, that nature, that God intended, the divine, however you define it, if we breathe in the way the divine intended, and we're causing that virus to have to travel through the hairs of the nose, we're causing that virus to have to go through the mucus, the warm mucus in our own nose. And if you know anything about the nomenclature, you also know that the nose helps to produce nitrous oxide. So that it works to defang, if you will, some of the pathogens before they even get to our throat, before they even get down inside us. So my question is, if we breathe like we're intended and we breathe in through our nose, can't do when you're outraged, well, I'll get him. I'll get her, my precious, right? No, baloney. Almost got me. Baloney. If we breathe in through our nose, what does that mean? So here's the thing. If we're enraged, we're not focusing on a full human breath, which I believe, is your bodyguard. It's the first step towards your cognitive bodyguard. So when everyone's running around going, oh, you know what, we gotta blame people for this biological pathogen. How about the philosophical pathogens? How about if you really want to do some good and you want to be compassionate and you want to be a warrior poet? How about having some of that compassion for the person you see in the mirror? Why would you let someone else enrage you? I love it. All these people, I'd never vote for that politician. I'd never vote for this politician. I don't think they care, right? I don't think they care. They don't even know who you are. Oh, I got a huge following. Yeah, who cares? Nobody knows. So all I'm simply suggesting is work on protecting yourself first. Remember who you are. Big bang or big breath. Whether you walked off the savannas of Africa or were evicted from the Garden of Eden, the pulpit or the primate, that right? Regardless, now is the time for you to mortal up. And here's the other thing. I just thought I would mention this. When we talk about what it takes to mortal up, when we talk about what it takes to be your own cognitive bodyguard, when we address what it takes to be your own mind's Mandalorian, here's the thing. It's on you and me. Everyone wants to go, well, I blame this leader or that leader. I don't give a crap about any of the leaders. You know the leader I care about? You. Because in times like this, you're the leader that we're all going to count on. You're the leader. But we've grown up going, oh, I need a leader. I need protection. I need a safety blanket. I need a stuffed animal. I need a safe space. I need a bubble. I need someone to protect me. I need to live in the nanny state. No more nanny state. What's going to come out on the other side of this? Who knows? But I'll tell you, the people that will succeed, well, the ones that decide to be their own leader. Look, we're up against a absolutely Herculean task at hand. Will we survive? You better believe we will. Right? They're closing schools all over the country. They're doing this. They're doing that. There's going to be another lockdown. How can you lockdown? It's like Animal House. Well, you're on double secret probation. Oh, so there's a single secret probation. Then we're just going to double the double secret. Okay, Dean Wormer. Gotcha. Good for you. Good for you. Boy, aren't we glad we elected you as a politician? All I'm simply suggesting is whatever comes out on the other end of this, you're going to be responsible. Talked to a friend of mine the other day that said, there's a lot of people betting the internet's going to go down. I go, oh, where will I get my videos of squirrels water skiing behind a little toy boat in somebody's backyard swimming pool? Where will I get my videos of an NBA star throwing a quarter across the room and hitting a empty roll of toilet paper? Tell me it isn't so. Tell me the internet isn't going to go down. Right? And they want to push all this panic. They want to push all this fear. They want to push all this anxiety. They want to keep you fighting. And I suspect they want to keep you fighting because they're going to come up with a vaccine or a medicine or a this or a that. They'll come up with some widget to sell you. But here's the thing. If you don't get the pathogen, then you don't have to worry about it, how you're going to recover from it. And the best way to bolster your immune system is not turn a blind eye and a deaf ear, not turn your back on yourself. And remember that the leader you're looking for, you are that leader. Now, if a group of us can join together and help be leaders, that's what's going to come out on the other side of this. Not a constant need to be under someone's apron strings going, you got to protect me, you got to protect me, you got to protect me. Protect you from what? It's on you. Remember I said, it's starting this off, the 5 Fs. Do you have food? Right? Do you? Do you have fresh water? Would you even know? Look, do you know enough first aid? Why not when you're done with the show, go and learn? Oh, here's all the things I can learn about first aid. Because there's going to come a time. Let me just say this. And I watched this firsthand in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. People will dial 911 and it's going to go to voicemail. If they don't get just a plain, steady business, a busy signal. So I ask, as I always do, when you can't call on anyone else, can you call on yourself? Right? Can't get a hold of the fire department? Do you have a fire extinguisher? Can't get a hold of the police? Do you have a firearm? Right? How are you going to protect your family? Right? If something happens to the internet, right? And I know you're thinking, gee, good golly, how am I going to miss all these celebrities singing to me from their shoe closet about how they're getting through the lockdown? Who cares? But let's say the internet goes down, and so the water system. Do you have fresh water? Do you have food? And again, first aid. Do you know how to do first aid? If a loved one, something happens to a loved one, do you know how to do CPR? A friend of mine said to me the other day, oh, I've known CPR for years. Well, great. They've changed what it means to know CPR. So what you and I knew 20 years ago, they don't teach that anymore. So you're the leader that your family is going to turn to. You're the leader your friends are going to turn to. You're the leader the people around you are going to turn to. So instead of pointing the finger at all these other leaders, well, they did this, they did that. I couldn't care less. You're the leader we're all waiting on. You're the leader that we're going to be counting on, however this turns out. All the people that want to run around screaming and hollering with their hair on fire, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to, that's what fate does. It thins the herd by instilling fear in people, right? It's like the wolf that pulls one down. Who do they pull down? The fragile, the timid, the ones whose immune system are already compromised. All I'm here to suggest is don't be that person. Be the leader that we're all waiting for. And that way, however it turns out, ultimately in the end, to be honest, we got no one else to blame but you and me, right? If we get to the point where we can't put our family behind our back, and whatever the intrusion is, put our family behind our back and go, you get behind me, I'll cover it from here. Guys and girls both. It's not a male thing. Who cares? The warrior poet. Let me just tell you one other thing, because I'm in love with this woman, right? Please, all the in-laws and my wife, it's not like that. Well, when I was in Wudong Mountain in China, and I told you about this, one of the people that could kick my butt the most, day in, day out, never a question, I even stopped trying, was a female priest, a Taoist priest. She spent her day offering up prayers and her evenings kicking the crap out of me in the dojo. All I'm simply suggesting, right, is that it's not a male or a female thing. When you can't call on anyone else, can you call on yourself? Don't let them instill fear in you. Fear is a forgetfulness. Fear is not remembering who you ultimately are. And if you've heard me say this before, I apologize, and then we'll get ready to wrap with this because I don't want to be the guy, right? Oh, yeah, so your drool is more important than a dog singing with a cat on a windowsill. Yeah, well, I guess I am a low-life making headline. In the Eastbound and Down, Rolling Up in Truckin', Burt Reynolds, he was in a movie, who knows what it was called. Oh, no, not North Dallas 40, I forget what it was. Smokey and the Bandit. They go to get into a bar fight, and Bruce is there, and not Bruce, what is his name? The main actor, whatever his name is, was hanging out with Sally Fields. Whatever the actor's name was there. Amnesia. What are you going to do? In any event, they go to get into a bar fight. And he goes, 1, 2, he counts the guys on the other side. Burt Reynolds, thank you very much. He counts the guys on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He counts himself. I think there was one other guy before Dom DeLuise as Captain Chaos. Funniest thing in the world if you haven't seen it. Captain Chaos shows up. But prior to that, Burt Reynolds counts himself, counts one other guy, goes 1, 2. And he turns to the biggest guy that's getting ready to fight, and he goes, you better go home and get some more guys. Well, here's my question. When you can't call for backup, are you your own backup? When you can't call on anyone else, can you call on yourself? And the beginning of calling on yourself is being able to say, I know who I am, and I absolutely refuse to be one of the ones that fate pulls down. If I gotta be careful here, I gotta be careful there, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Not saying that people should run around and lick public toilet seats. Never agreed with that, right? Just as going on the record before all the hate mail starts. I'm not agreeing with that. I'm saying do what you gotta do to be safe. But one of the things you can do to be safe is to remember who you are. And stop wanting it to be different than it is. Thy will be done. If Allah wills, thou shalt not want. Human gettings, wanting protection. Human gettings, wanting it to be perfect. It's never. I saw something the other day where they were on some politician about, he's sowing uncertainty. Life sows uncertainty. What ride did you think you landed on? Nothing but life is uncertain. I never thought I'd be cooking along. One day, go to the doctor because I can't taste a cannoli, and he goes, you got a golf ball-sized brain tumor. Everything sows uncertainty. That's the beauty of the gig. That's what life is. Fate sows uncertainty. You bring the counterpunch and knock the crap out of fate. I wish it were more than that. Man, you know what? I really don't wish it were more than that. I love that about life, right? The upside of being an underdog. Well, I got to tell you, we're all underdogs. Until you remember who you ultimately are. Till, like Burt Reynolds, you go, fate, you better go home and get some more guys. Because I refuse to be the one that's targeted, successfully targeted. I refuse to be the one. It's not going to be my family. It's not going to be my friends. It's not going to be the people that I care about. I refuse to be your victim. And it begins when you remember who you ultimately are. All right. Thank you all so very much. As I said to start this off, happy Palm Sunday. And it's just in case, for those who wondered, I really did. This is my first ever public appearance. Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul and leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I brought the shadow with me. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. You are a great grandchild of the divine. And the moment you remember that, the moment you remember that fate is going to have to find an easier target because you're not it. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Whatever your definition of divinity is, whatever it is, remember this: you are its offspring. You are the great, as I said earlier, the great grandchild of the divine, however you define it. And whether it's quantum physics, whether it's more gravity than God, good for you. Same thing still applies. All right, everybody, be safe. We'll be back. Oh my good golly. Okay, I'm going to go 2 more minutes. 2 more. We're going to start tomorrow morning. Here's the thing. We're going to start off going back to mornings. I know it kills me, the Brian Brody Show. It probably will, right? Stay tuned. For those of you rooting, stay tuned. But we're going to go back starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll be live to kind of help prepare people for the day ahead, to help people get through whatever fate brings at us in the future. So we'll be going back. The Brian Brody Show will be 6 a.m. Eastern if you want to tune in. Wayne is a really talented guy, so he's got it going out to Facebook, to Twitter, to YouTube, over on mortalup.com. You could go over there if you like to, but we'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., kicking off our little spiritual soiree. Although soiree means at night. You get where I'm going with this. Soiree in the mornings. So if you have a chance to join us, it'll be great. Don't forget, you can go to mortalup.com. Just go to the website, hit the play button. You can listen to us right on your phone if you're so inclined. But in case I miss you tomorrow morning, have an absolutely fantastic rest of your weekend. And please remember who you ultimately are. Not who you've become, but who you ultimately are. And of the courage that comes attached when you do so. Right? Don't let fate pull you down by being afraid. Get out there, bring your own bold, and mortal up. Thank you so very much for joining us for All Natural Being, or really our Sunday version of the Brian Brody Show. You can reach us at allnaturalbeing.com, and as always, mortalup.com. Have an absolutely fantastic day. As I said before, please, for everyone around you, myself included, your extended family, remember who you ultimately are, and then there isn't anything that will pull you down. Have an absolutely fantastic day.